What's a trip to Taiwan without trying Hakka food? So of course we had to visit Hukou Old Street in Hsinchu. Strolling through old streets in Taiwan is like stepping into a foodie's paradise. You're greeted with beautiful architects, irresistible food stalls, and friendly faces all around. From refreshing traditional grass jelly drink that's perfect for summer, grilled stinky tofu, which I actually prefer more than deep fried because the tofu soaks up all the delicious sauces, making it crispy on the outside but soft and juicy on the inside. Baked stinky tofu on a stick. To creamy taro ice cream where every spoonful delivers a velvety smooth texture and a hint of nutty richness, making brain freezes so worth it. I don't normally like taro, but this is so creamy and yummy. We seriously want to try every single food stall here, but of course we had to visit a restaurant that specializes in traditional Hakka food. We actually haven't been back here for at least 10 years, so every dish brought back so many memories. If you never tried Hakka food before, they're known for their spices. The dishes are often savory, slightly spicy, but packed with lots of flavor. Some of my favorites are Hakka stir fry, a traditional stir fry dish that has tofu, pepper, preserved meat, and lots of different seasoning. Every bite is packed with so much texture, it's perfect to pair with rice. Slowly braised pork hog that's packed with gelatin. This is easily my dad's favorite dish for the day. And of course there's stir-fried ginger intestine, which may sound intimidating, but the boiled intestine pairs so well with the sourness from the vinegar and the spicy ginger. I promise you won't regret giving this dish a try. The best part is, all this food was less than $20. We finished everything.
But now you're gone and all I have is...
After walking around, we stumbled across this cute old school tea shop and dessert shop. We decided to try their ginger mochi and roasted blended iced tea. The iced tea had so many different textures, from chewy grass jelly, sweetened green beans, to rich and creamy roasted rice. It kind of felt like I was eating a oatmeal smoothie. I did, however, love their ginger mochi dessert. Maybe not in the 38-degree weather, but I'll definitely come back again to try in the winter. For dinner, we decided to go to one of my favorite restaurants, which sells delicious goose meat. I used to come here at least once a week with my parents after my swimming lessons. They have been open for 20 years now, and every time I come back, I have to visit. If you never tried goose meat before, it's similar to chicken, but it's even more tender and juicy. Unlike duck, there's no gamey taste, but it's still much more flavorful compared to chicken or turkey because it has an earthy, nutty flavor from its natural diet and lifestyle. You have to eat it with their secret sauce, which you can find in the fridge. When paired together with thinly sliced ginger, I can eat this whole plate of meat to myself. Honestly, everything on this menu is delicious and really worth giving a try. I especially love their garlic cabbage stir fry and their dry noodle. They make the best Taiwanese cabbage out of everyone in Taiwan. It's so good. A little secret, my golden shallot oil was actually also inspired by this restaurant's dry noodle dish. Their shallots are fried in goose oil, so literally every bite is like a savory explosion in your mouth.
So good.
Maybe it's the childhood memories, but every time I come here, I'm left even more certain that I will come back again the next time I visit. The next day, we went to visit the fish market. I know I say day markets and night markets are wild in Taiwan, but have you ever been to a fish market in Taiwan? The first floor is normally where you find colorful stalls packed with all sorts of seafood. You can hear the vendors shouting out their deals, the air feels alive with a salty scent from the sea and making you practically taste the freshness. On the second floor is a seafood lover's paradise. You'll find a bunch of restaurants serving the freshest seafood any way you like. My dad always goes to the front to see what type of fresh seafood they have for the day. The chef then recommends different cooking methods depending on your diet and preference. It's always such an art to see how my dad and the chef is able to come up with the full menu by just looking at what's available. Maybe this is where I get all my inspiration from. The freshest seafood ever. Literally just came from downstairs. Fried oysters, so good. After lunch, we went downstairs to pick up some seafood and stock up on some fresh fish floss to bring back to Vancouver. As we were walking around, we instantly fell in love with this small vendor selling sashimi and hand rolls. Their spotted prawn sashimi was so sweet and fresh that we had to get seconds. But my favorite was for sure their crab and ikara hand rolls, made fresh to order. I'm so fresh. And the seaweed is still nice and crunchy and all the juices from the ikara. It's definitely a must-try place. You guys need to try it out. Last but not least, of course we had to get some sashimi. Like, how are we able to resist that beautiful fatty tuna? Melts in your mouth. Look at that. We're gonna finish our sashimi. The next day, we were off to my favorite place in Taiwan, Tainan, Taiwan's food heaven. This was actually my first time on the high-speed rail in Taiwan, and I was impressed. You're able to go from Taoyuan to Tainan in an hour and a half, which is so fast since normally it takes us almost 4 hours to drive down. No train ride is completed without a train bento, 火车便当. Every day is different, but they always consist of a protein, rice, and a bunch of side dishes for less than $4. If you ever travel by train in Taiwan, this is a must-try. The first thing we had to get once we arrived in Tainan was almond jelly shaved ice, 杏仁豆腐冰. The soft and jiggly almond jelly paired with sweetened mochi balls, creamy condensed milk, and crunchy shaved ice was the perfect way to start our trip in Tainan. Really good. In Tainan, regardless if it's pouring rain, everywhere you go, you'll find something yummy to eat. Like this random hole-in-the-wall restaurant that sold noodles and wontons. We literally just followed the crowd and sat down, and this did not disappoint. Every dish has been perfectly seasoned, but I especially love their dry noodles.
언제나 편하게 기대도 돼 네가 원한다면 yeah. 내가 너의 곁에 영원히 옆에서 지켜줄게 언제라도 짙은 어둠이
For our first dinner, yes, I said first because I want to eat everything when I'm here. We got braised pork belly, pork blood, water spinach, and a bunch of other side dishes. This restaurant is known for their pork dishes since they use Taiwanese pork. Taiwanese pork are super yummy because there's no gamey taste. They're fed with a nutrition diet of locally grown grains, fruits, and veggies. They also have advanced processing techniques to ensure the freshness of the meat. Every restaurant has to display where they source their meat in Taiwan, making it easier to ensure that you got good quality food. This place is always a must visit whenever I visit Tainan. We then met up with my parents to get a soul-warming dish, seafood congee. They have different seafood every day depending on what is fresh on the menu. I love that they don't use too much seasoning, but instead they really let the sweetness and freshness of the seafood shine. This place deserves a big thumbs up from my dad.
Very delicious. Everybody have to come to eat us. Fresh carrots.
Let me introduce you to one of my favorite breakfast spots in Tainan, crispy golden potstickers. These little potstickers are like flavor bombs wrapped in a crunchy shell. Every time I come to Tainan, this is a must-try place. So crispy, but so juicy. The aunties who work here are also super sweet and friendly, making a great way to start your day. Heads up, they do sell out really quick, so I recommend coming at least 2 hours before closing to make sure you can try everything on the menu.
Degrees and sunny, just the way I always wanted. 더바랄 것도 없어. 지금 이대로면 좋아. 따스한 햇볕을 가득 담은 sand river. The bluebirds peaceful to sing along. That I love you. Oh, 그대여 나와 이 거리를 걸어요. Every day of you. Oh, 난 그저 잔디밭에 누워 있어도 좋아요.
If you ever have a sweet tooth and craving something refreshing, you need to try fruit stalls in Tainan. The fruits are always changing depending on the season, but it's guaranteed that they always have the best quality fruits here. A must try though is for sure the mango shaved ice. Fluffy, finely shaved ice, crowned with fresh mango chunks, a generous drizzle of condensed milk for the extra creaminess, and finish off with a large scoop of fresh mango ice cream. Irresistible dessert that you will never forget. If you come to Taiwan, you have to try Taiwan's mango. Delicious. Optional, but I love topping mine off with Tainan's famous pudding to add even more creaminess. This is definitely an unforgettable dessert that you need to try. For the next 2 days, Tainan was pouring rain. And let me tell you, when it rains, it pours in Taiwan. Even though we had to cancel a bunch of our plans due to the rain, it didn't stop us from walking around and finding something yummy to eat. This is probably one of my favorite places in Tainan, hands down. I have to come at least twice every time I come here. So good. This is probably the only place that'll get me walking 30 minutes in the rain just to eat something yummy. They don't call Tainan Taiwan's food capital for no reason. Just Tainan alone, it has 36 eateries in the Michelin Guide. My family and I used to come down to Tainan every summer. Like many others in Taiwan, we would drive hours just to eat all the yummy local street foods that you can't find anywhere else. Such as eel noodle stir fry, which looks intimidating, but was actually one of the best things I had all trip. The eel was fresh, tender, and slightly crunchy, a texture I actually never had before, but it was so tasty. Paired with a tangy, peppery sauce that coated all the noodles, a meal that I would gladly have all over again.
It's really good.
Tainan's most famous room temperature beef soup. It is so famous that people will travel hours for the freshest, most tender beef that you will ever try. Don't worry, I'll be going more in depth about this dish later because I had a bowl every single day. The next day, it was still pouring rain, but my mom was craving lotus wrapped sticky rice, a classic Tainan breakfast paired with Taiwanese-style miso soup. Sticky rice wrapped in lotus leaf and stuffed with a bunch of savory fillings such as mushroom, salted egg, pork belly, and braised peanut. I wish I could have this every single day for breakfast. It was still pouring rain, so we decided to go across the street to get some lamb soup. This place definitely caught me by surprise. I don't know how they do it, but there's no gamey taste. Instead, it's just the most comforting and rich aromatic broth paired with tasty, tender lamb. By the time we finished the soup, it stopped raining, so I guess it was meant to be.
Don't know how I can explain. 하루 종일 네 생각이 간절해 낯설어. 나 왜 이런 걸까? You're the cure to all my pains. 널 좋아하나 봐. 널 사랑하나 봐. 이제는 더 이상은 숨길 수 없잖아. 내일 더 줄 거야, 안아줄 거야. We're meant to be, you can't deny. 내일 더 다가갈 거야.
I am about to put you on something that changed Dom's life forever the first time he tried it. Tainan beef hot pot, the most melt-in-your-mouth beef that you will ever try in your life. They're called room temperature beef wontons, and I know what you may be thinking. Room temperature? Well, that's because only the freshest meat can be made into beef soup or beef hot pot. Every day, the meat is rushed directly from the farm to the restaurant without any refrigeration. And to ensure the freshness, all meat must be consumed within 6 hours after leaving the farm. In fact, to ensure it is the freshest meat possible, many of the meats actually get picked up from the cab driver driven directly to the restaurant. I would never forget Dom's face when he took the first bite of the beef. Just looking at the meat, it may not seem special, but the thinly sliced beef is tender, not too fatty, and a slight chew that you can't find with any other types of beef. Just a few seconds in the hot bone broth and you are ready to enjoy. Like many other restaurants in Tainan, they do sell out fast, so I recommend coming at least 10 minutes before they open to ensure you get a seat. On our last day, the first day it wasn't raining, we decided to go walk around Anping Old Street, the first street in Taiwan to be given a name. It's one of the most fascinating places to visit as there's so much history and culture here. People often visit Anping Old Street for their walking food tour. You can find freshly made shrimp crackers, which you can smell from blocks away.
Freshly fried shrimp chips. So good.
Tainan coffin bread, which is deep fried bread stuffed with creamy seafood chowder. famous Anping tofu pudding, known as the birthplace of tofu puddings. It's so good that my mom always gets 2 servings every time she comes. And of course, the original Thai beef soup. The beef here is also room temperature beef, making every dish super tender. I took my friend here last summer and she says she still dreams about this place. As someone who's super picky about my fried rice, the beef fried rice here is seriously elite, and I will travel hours just to eat here every time I visit.
Oh no, I gave my heart away. Went a bit too far, so wrong. Oh no, open up my soul, but babe, how could I know you're cold? Shame on you, should have seen what you were like. Dangerously nice. You got me all lost, so blinded. You got me all lost. Listen to my heart. I gotta be lost, survived it. Now you're all gone, 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 my friend. Oh Lord, I guess you fooled me once, but I ain't falling twice.
So creamy.
Oh Lord, I ain't gonna run. My rise has just begun. I'll shine. Shame on you. Should have seen what you were like. Dangerously nice. You got me all lost.
Tainan will forever hold a special place in my heart. Looking back to my childhood, I realized how much of my love for food stems from my parents. Every outing with my parents is like a foodie field trip, hitting up different markets, food joints, and trying everything you can think of. But it wasn't just about eating. It's about the joy of cooking together, trying new things, and swapping stories and making new memories. Even now when I cook in my kitchen, it is often inspired by my childhood memories. Their passion for food rubbed off on me big time. Because of them, they helped me develop not just a love for food, but also deep appreciation for culture, history, craftsmanship behind every dish. If you ever visit Taiwan, make sure to swing by Tainan. On our drive back from Tainan, we decided to do a mini road trip and swing by Changhua and visit the Great Buddha at Baguasan. Changhua, located in central Taiwan, doesn't normally get as much tourists compared to the other cities in Taiwan. However, it's actually one of the most traditional cities with beautiful well-preserved temples, architects, and lots of yummy food. My dad's hometown is actually right beside Changhua, so he brought us to some of his favorite restaurants. First up, we went to get some braised pork belly rice. The pork belly is slowly cooked in aromatic spices and soy sauce for hours until it's melt in your mouth tender. They use a toothpick to help hold its shape. My dad says this is how you know the pork belly will be good. Every grain of rice is then coated with a savory, rich sauce, making every bite rich and satisfying. The sauce makes you want to eat bowls and bowls of rice. It always amazes me how something so simple can be so good. We loved it so much that we went to get a second bowl after. Changhua is home to one of Taiwan's most famous street food, bawan, chewy crystal meatball. The outside of the dough is made from sweet potato flour, which gives it the chewy texture, while the inside has a bunch of savory fillings such as pork, mushroom, bamboo, scallop, and garlic. They first steam the meatball, then slowly deep fry the ball until the outside is slightly crispy but still super soft and chewy. It's then finished off with a sweet and savory sauce. Even though this is my all-time favorite Taiwanese street food, I have never actually had it from Changhua. We lined up for 30 minutes in the sun, but once I took the first bite, I knew that it was so worth it.
There's a new day that will come again tomorrow. There's a new day to wash away the pain. There's a new day to take away your sorrow, and the old ways get washed out by the rain. Darling, you've got to keep holding on through the night, 'cause I promise you this: if you try to get some sleep, if you give up the fight, if only just for a bit, there's a new day to leave behind your troubles.
If you ever visit Changhua, make sure to swing by Lukang, one of the oldest and most traditional towns in Taiwan. The city alone has over 200 temples. While walking down the old street, you're able to find beautiful, well-maintained historical buildings, traditional street foods such as pan-roasted cakes that was super fluffy and soft, slowly roasted iced flower tea blended with roasted rice and black sesame that was really rich and creamy, old-school toy and ceramic shops, and Japanese-inspired grilled mochi that was chewy on the outside and creamy on the inside. The street has so much history that we spent hours and hours just walking around and taking everything in. We even got super lucky and was able to witness Mazu Temple's parade, which happens once every 10 years. Every time I come back to Taiwan, my birthplace, it will always have a special place in my heart. The vibrant culture, unreal food, and happy moments with family always makes each trip an unforgettable experience. As a trip comes to an end, it always feels bittersweet because I can't help but wonder when is the next time we're able to all be here together. I wish I could go back in time and relive my childhood and appreciate the simple times when time just didn't fly by. Still, I feel so lucky to be here with my family and reconnect with my roots. I had so much fun bringing you around my hometown, and I'm so happy I got to share my trip with you. Thank you so much for your love and support, and I love you all so much. See you next week back in Vancouver. Bye!